All right, Matt. Have you made a Gen AI vibe coded tool that has gotten you acquired by another company yet?
Well, I
Clock.
think I think we need to talk about something more important.
Oh, okay. Were you acquired? Oh, no.
No, 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 something more important.
All right, all right.
I am curious if all Canadians are taught from an early age that it's okay to cheat in curling.
Oh no, is that the drama? Okay, we're gonna go quick sidebar. We may have talked about this already. One, I know nothing about curling. Two, have not followed the Olympics, but three, did watch a whole hour-long episode of Business Insider. It's called So Expensive, but it was talking about the
Uh-huh.
rocks that are used for curling.
Oh
Those
yeah.
are very expensive rocks.
Yeah.
That's all I know about curling. I'm so sorry. No, curling, cheating in curling, I think it would generally be acceptable in the 80s because you might have been overserved while curling. But these days, I
Right.
don't think it's kosher to drink while curling. So no, I don't think it's all
So
right.
yeah, apparently one of them touched the stone after it passed a line
Whew,
and
that's a no go. Yeah.
when he got caught, well, allegedly when he got caught, his
Allegedly.
answer was "f off."
All right. Well, I mean, the tempers
Um,
flare.
yeah. Oh my. So you've never done curling?
I might have as a child, but let me tell you, like all I recall, if it's true, is the rocks are heavy and it's very cold in the ice rink, which I mean I could have just dreamt that. I don't think I've ever curled.
So I have.
Oh, okay.
I have. I used to work at a company called God, which company was it? I think it was called the one I was at was Yotta, Yotta. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
they exist anymore. They shouldn't exist if they do. Um, and they we did a team building activity and we drove. I don't know where it was. There was some curling place, curling rink. I mean, like a building that had a few things for curling, and it was like dedicated to curling. It must have been,
In America, right?
yeah, somewhere in Massachusetts, or
Okay.
it
Because
must have
I
been
feel like
somewhere.
just another harkening back to the rocks thing. Apparently, a full set is like easily 9K just to get
Wow.
the rocks. I know there's a term, the curling stones, just to get the things
Yeah,
like this
it's
isn't like a
it's
major investment for a place to say we do curling here is like
yeah.
non-trivial is what I'm getting at. Wow.
Yeah, and they had many sets, and you know they have all the shoes that you can rent, and or they these you can either wear the special shoes, or you can put these like covers on your shoes,
Like little booties. Okay. Yeah.
and once you put those on, I mean it's hard to stand up on the ice.
Right. Right.
And these apparently add a little bit more friction
Friction. Yeah.
than the real shoes. But it was really hard. And you know, doing the like you're
Just
when
sweeping,
you're
right?
when you're sweeping and you're kind of pushing against, it's kind of hard not to get pushed back. And so
Right.
you're trying to do this, and it's like, oh, it's really hard.
Yeah, it looks
So
difficult. I definitely haven't swept the ice
yeah.
ever in my life. I think I'd remember that. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that was it's a
It's
drama.
major drama.
It's getting some coverage.
I can relate this back to something I did over the weekend, which is not theft or cheating, but related to both. So
Oh.
I have some questions for you about open source licensing that might shed a light on this story. So I was playing around in an AGPL code base. Are you aware of the implications of AGPL?
No.
Okay, I think I am, but I may misspeak. So we might need to Google to make sure. I don't want to say like viral license, but I think AGP, it's the new Affero public license. I think when you contribute to the code base, your contributions also have the same license. And if you include it as part of an app, the app should also have the same license if I read it properly.
Mm.
And listen, I'm not casting any shade. I was working in something called AutoClaude. So AutoClaude is auto-claude, and specifically, just so I don't sound like a real monster, specifically, I want to look at the Kanban organization of agents. I think we've
Mm.
talked a lot about UML or different ways of just looking top down at a quote unquote workforce of agents and what that looks like. And I thought this tool had a pretty good handle on Kanban to agent relationship, but it's AGPL, so I didn't want to fork it and play around with it too
Hmm.
much. Not that I shouldn't. That's totally fine too. But specifically, and you might appreciate this, it was written in Python and TypeScript, and maybe
Python
I'm just
and TypeScript?
yeah, so Python for the back end and TypeScript for the front end. And I've dealt with code bases very similar to that before, and I just didn't want to again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Python's fine. TypeScript is fine. I just for me, I thought, what if I wrote the front end in Rust and compiled it to WASM? That would be easier, right?
Hmm.
So I basically just wanted to play with leptos.
Yeah.
But here's what I did, which is what I think is probably cheating. And I'm not going to release this or anything like that. But I literally took screenshots of the app and then handed it to a model and said, like, this is what good like looks like. How close
Hmm.
can we get? Which is like you're copying up there. And I know a lot of these models will allow you to point at a website and say clone this website.
Right.
I kind of not that person. I just want to figure out
Right.
how the rest would work. So neither here nor there. I'm not going to release it, what have you, but it did feel a little dirty. And I think what I'm trying to say is, like, this seems to be normalized now, but I really feel like it shouldn't be. Like, just cloning apps, like I understand somebody wakes up in the morning and says, like, hey, I hate Spotify, I'm
Right.
gonna make my own for my own MP3 collection, and they think they've made Spotify, but they've probably made the app, like the
Right.
front end, the
Right.
client, whatever. That's totally fine. In this case, it's not even the app or the look and the feel that I felt bad about. It's kind of like the idea of using Kanban to manage agents, which I'm sure other people have come up with before. But that to me felt like, do you know what I mean? Like the secret sauce or like what made the app
Hmm.
tick. It's not the markdown files for steering or the skills or what have you, MCP connections. It's really just that idea of being able to manage agents by Kanban boards. So I think in my
Hmm.
mind, without completely copying someone's source, I think the right thing to say here is like you're being inspired by another open source project,
Hmm.
or is that not enough? Like, because I'm not copying the code, I'm not transpiling or doing anything like that. The GUI is certainly inspired by the Kanban view of agents,
Right.
but I felt a little bit icky, and maybe that's the Canadianism in me, but like it felt a bit wrong. I guess I'm not going to
I
go
don't
out and
know.
start
I
a
mean,
startup based on
I,
this
the
stuff.
the big news in, or one of the big news items in our world is OpenClaw, and it certainly doesn't acknowledge any of the. I mean, it does nothing
Thank you for
original, nothing
understanding my
new.
segue. Exactly, exactly. Peter, love you to pieces, but like, whew, did you
There,
really need to write like a command line Google CLI, like, and like one that can take screenshots and stuff like this? Like all the tools that come with OpenClaw, don't get me
right,
wrong, are all copies of other tools that already
right,
exist. Like that's what makes up OpenClaw. It's a
right.
bunch of, and I'm trying to be charitable, but
And
like
even though all
it's
the,
tools.
I mean, having the loop, I mean, and go, I mean,
The Pi
that
loop, yeah.
none of that's original. I mean, I mean,
I think it's literally Pi, is it not? Like PI. It's like the lightest weight agent framework that you
hmm,
can have, and all it does is run a loop. I think that's the
okay,
secret sauce. Again, I realize there's tons of apps that
right,
Peter made, and looking at this backwards makes
right,
it look amazing. But of course, forwards, he didn't know what he was making at all. He was trying
yeah,
to make a WhatsApp
yeah,
bot. But you're
which we've
right.
had
Like,
before. I mean, everybody
yeah,
makes it, and
right.
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe a lot of this is that I'm just jealous that Peter made something that was
sure,
an astounding success. Like really, let's be
yeah,
honest. When you and I first talked about it, I had been on vacation, and even on vacation, like not touching a computer, it came across my desk. Like somebody
yeah,
else mentioned it, and I was like, Claudebot, what are you talking? Like, how have I never
yeah,
heard of this? And then
yeah,
I looked into it, but it's a resounding success. It looks like they're starting a foundation to take care of OpenClaw
hmm,
within OpenAI, which, listen, probably a good idea because this tool is pretty powerful. If you just turn on all those plugins, like
yeah,
it's scary. I will also admit to having bought a Mac Mini over the weekend, not to run OpenClaw on, but like, like to figure out if OpenClaw could work properly with Olama
Hmm.
locally without using any cloud stuff. Because like
Right.
I really don't. It needs to be on its own VM, its own box.
Hmm.
It needs to be separated from the network on a tailnet or what have you. So
Right.
I've literally got two Mac Minis now that are running OpenClaw and other things.
Hmm.
But it's yeah, it needs help. I'm very happy to hear the announcement about the foundation. I
Yeah.
also some of me feels bad for Peter because I think he thought he retired and maybe he's liking this now, but also it kind of feels like that meme, like they pulled me back in. I
Right.
thought I was out and then they pulled me back in. So I hope this doesn't become like yet another stressful point in his life where he thought he had left this behind and
Right.
it's rearing its ugly head again because the industry can take a lot out of you. I think day in day out, there's a
Yeah.
lot happening. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of news, and I know that OpenAI is very very busy. So I'm
Right.
hoping that he's able to relax a bit because I don't know if you watched that full Lex Friedman video with him. Did you? It's 3 hours
I
long.
it I try. I mean, I've started watching it, and I try what, but that interviewer, Lex Friedman, is so painful to watch. I don't know how he
He's
gets.
thank you.
Oh
Thank
God,
you.
I was like, I can't watch this.
Oh, it's so
Ugh.
cringe, and
Yeah.
maybe I'm a bad interviewer too. I just so every time he was talking, it's the same. I was just like, oof. But Peter, I think is a very good interviewee. I think he did
Yeah.
a good interview.
Yeah.
I've watched about 2 hours at this point in time, and I
God.
think Theo probably just watched the video and then made a video about the video,
Hmm.
which is maybe worth watching
Hmm.
if you want to summarize it all because you don't have to deal with
Yeah.
Lex. Again, love you, Lex. I just you're not
I,
the presenter for me.
yeah.
Not the content's great. You know, it was a good interview, but 3 hours is a long time for an
Yeah.
interview in this day and age. And I just feel like there wasn't enough value in the questions being different in that interview to other interviews I've seen with Peter.
Right.
Because I have been watching a lot of
Okay.
interviews with Peter. I think whenever there's a project that like outpaces Kubernetes growth, just put that there. I think that's
Yeah.
very interesting to
Yeah.
me to see enough people interested in the project and working on the project at the same time with one person at the helm.
Right.
Yeah, that's like Kubernetes when it started out as a project already had multiple people working on it who could
Hmm.
handle the PRs, the issues, and all the other beautiful things that come up
Right.
with
Right.
a successful open source project. I can just imagine the stress that Peter's under.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, so his previous thing, PSPDF, he
Right.
sold for.
PSP
Was
PDF.
it
Yeah.
was it him alone that he sold it? And so he
Yeah.
gets all the money. The what was it, hundred and something $1 million.
No idea. A lot of money.
Um,
Millions. Yeah. Millions for sure.
and maybe after, let's say it's all in one lump sum. Okay, then he ends up with 75, $80 million. I mean, pick your number, whatever number it is that you need to survive for the rest of your life, and and then you're good. I mean, I don't know why.
No, I don't
Yeah,
understand U.S.
yeah,
economy at all. Let's
yeah,
assume this is Canadian, so you lose half of it. You're
yeah,
left with 50, and you're 50. So let's say you think your life expectancy is going to be 100, and I'm not going to say a mill a year, but maybe 750k
yeah,
a year. That's like a fair amount of money
yeah,
per year until you die, and there's inflation. It's going to be less as you get older. Maybe you need to invest, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I can see why he retired. I guess is what I'm trying to
yeah.
say. I can also see why he'd be hesitant or reluctant to rejoin the industry.
Hmm.
At the same time, he's released this project that's really, really popular that he doesn't want to step away from, but also does not have what's the term? Doesn't have the spoons, doesn't have the energy,
Right.
doesn't have enough juice in the bank to
Yeah.
help him like push this over the line because he is already retired.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad for him watching him in that interview and saying, I think at one point he said, I called up Sam and said, like, hey, can I name it this way? And I was like, wait a second. You called up Sam? I wonder how that conversation went because I didn't know he had been
Yeah.
acqui-hired or what have you
Well,
at this point. But I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that's when it happened, right? Sam might be like, how'd you get this number? Who are you? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
When
then
he
like, probably
said,
tell me more,
I
right?
heard
Like, tell me
that
more.
and I thought, well, is there a Sam at like Anthropic? Is there a Sam there who, because he's asking
Right,
about the name. Is that
right,
okay? It's like, well,
right.
I mean, sure, you can call it whatever you want.
It's the open part of the name, right? Because it's kind of like open API,
Hmm.
Claude Code,
Okay.
open. Yeah,
Okay.
I get why I did, but there's also open code already,
Yeah.
which is very similar. But yeah, so OpenClaw is what it ended up being renamed to. But I feel like this story is one of those other. What's my pulse here? I guess I don't like news that happens on the weekend. I don't like news that happens over Christmas. Like, you know what I mean? And it feels like
Yeah.
there's so much happening right now that the one that like I wake up to news, which is not.
Yeah.
I don't like that mode. I like waking up and the news happening. I don't like
Right.
waking up to Minimax has just released 2.5 and everyone's using it and it's top of the leaderboard.
Hmm.
Go use it and figure out, and then we'll talk. Like I
Right.
haven't even had my coffee yet. So why are you newsing? But that's it feels like the news cycle in this I don't know, in this new era is very fast. There's just a lot of things going on. This drama is yet another one of those things that happened over the holidays, it sounds
Hmm.
like, now that we're looking back. And chances are, like, do you remember? I think it was last year, last Christmas, not this one, but the one prior. So 2024,
Hmm.
2025, there was some drama around people leaving OpenAI. Do you remember
Okay.
that? And then, like, they had like fired and hired Sam again. Maybe it
Right.
was the year
Oh,
before.
that was then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, What is going on? Like, I'm trying to have Christmas dinner. Can y'all relax just a little bit?"
Yeah.
But it feels like we're at that point in time, and then
Yeah.
the market is watching these projects, I guess, so
Yeah.
closely and making decisions on the market, which is like
Without
one
having
thing.
any idea what they're doing. I mean, and they
Yeah.
just hear the headline. Oh, I can recreate name your sass
Which is
in
I think
30
we were talking about
minutes.
Monday last week, right?
And
Yeah.
I like, yeah, you can, replicate a tiny sliver of it, but and
Right.
you now maintain it. Good luck.
And that's like that's real world, and then there's
Yeah,
kinda I don't wanna call it fake money, but then there's the whole Bitcoin stuff
yeah,
happening where they're creating and maybe I'm gonna say it here, creating fake coins so they
right.
can pump and dump scheme or scam. Sorry,
Yep,
I'm I'm trying to be nice, but I think when it comes to, like, the meme coins, you have to
yeah,
put your foot down, and Peter was saying that it was so distracting to him, they kept trying to, like, steal his name or,
yeah.
like, when he bought a domain, they would try to make a coin and say
Hmm.
this is a signal that Peter's going to use this coin, et cetera,
Right.
trying to manufacture interest in whatever they were doing. And he was so burnt out by it that it felt
Yeah,
like that financial aspect was one of the biggest problems that he had with the project, actually, is
yeah,
people speculating on the market using, like, I don't know if it was Polymarket that they mentioned, but like betting basically.
yeah,
And it just all of that just left like a really bad taste in my mouth, and I'm sure in his as
yeah.
well, where he was
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
"Oh
one of the things
no."
in that interview towards the beginning
Right.
is, I mean, and I've heard that a few times before. Is like I was tempted to just delete it, delete it all, and like, who cares? Let somebody else deal with it. It's like
I
I could
listen,
totally see that.
yeah, like, I don't even have a project that's doing anything, it's just a
Yeah.
sample repo, but I started getting stars, and I was like, "No, no, no, no." You know? I made it private, and then I
Yeah,
think that it removed all the stars, which is nice, and then I set it to on private again
yeah,
because 'cause I'm in the same boat, I don't want
yeah,
meme coins. I'm not even making anything useful. Literally, I'm
yeah.
just trying to get CI/CD to light up in Datadog while I push garbage code to a repo,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
sometimes artifacts come out, but, like,
yeah,
that's not really the goal. And it feels like that predatory investment, I guess, was
yeah.
a large part of his burnout, and you could see that, right? If you watch that part of the interview, you could see it on his face. He was, like, really downtrodden. Like, it just
Yeah,
it felt awful. Like, we're rewarding this person who's made a tool that is useful, maybe not the most secure, I think we can all agree,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I hope he's come around to the fact that, like, secure by default is, like, the way to do things.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like that for a reason, or, like, lockdown by default. Um, but it just felt really bad. Like the empathy I guess I had for him going through that situation, it just
yeah,
felt awful. And
yeah,
it feels bad that we're putting somebody back in the saddle who doesn't want to be there, who
yeah,
just wants to have fun over the weekends.
yeah.
And now he's in like, listen, we'll use a scam alternative man's a
Right.
company. You know what I mean? Like Sam's got a history of doing some stuff as well, and maybe that's not where he wanted to end up. But honestly, when you look at the Anthropic handling all of this, it was so poor
Hmm.
considering that like basically he's helping Anthropic sell more API calls. And I know they don't see it that way. They see this as a pure IP play and they wanted that
Hmm.
back. They grabbed the domain from him, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like that the cease and desist could have been a handshake instead, and that's exactly what OpenAI did. And yeah,
I mean, I could
I
see
don't know.
in that same situation. I was Anthropic or whoever. What I mean,
Hmm.
I could totally see both as being the most obvious play is to either
Right.
reach out or and I
Blown into
remember
oblivion.
when I was at Microsoft, there was that was right around the time of so there was .NET, and then there was the offshoot by Decaza. Um,
Michel de Ocasa in
Zimian, no,
Mono.
Zimian or
Mono.
Mono? Was
I
it
think it was
also
Mono.
Zimian?
Yes,
Yeah.
same
And I
person.
remember, I mean, because I was in education marketing and he was I think he was still at a university in Mexico. And I seem to remember there was potential legal action that was being discussed.
Wow.
But there was also, our team was actively trying to recruit him into Microsoft. Um, and
What
it didn't take, but
did he not go work for Microsoft for a bit? I
well,
don't
that
remember.
not at that time.
Okay.
Might have been
Oh,
later.
he was interviewed by the Internet Explorer Unix team to work on a Spark port. Sorry, I pulled up
Hmm.
his.
Okay.
I pulled it up because I wasn't sure if it was Zimian or Xamarin, but it turns out that it's both actually.
Hmm.
And he was the one of the co-founders of GNOME, which
Hmm.
uh, yeah, I think at the time I did not like, but now come
Yeah.
along.
Um.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
yeah,
mean, both of those, both routes came up because, like, well, it's kind of competing, and is he allowed? And um, well, but should we just hire him? So and I mean, I wasn't high enough to like have a real impact on either of those decisions. I just know that both of those topics were being discussed.
so he did get hired, and he left in 2022, in March 2022,
Hmm. Well, he got hired
and
when,
I think like almost 10 years prior to that is
Hmm.
my understanding.
which is
Kind of.
10 years after I left
Correct.
Microsoft.
Correct. Yeah. And I think it doesn't say this anywhere in here, but he was on the board of .NET Foundation.
Hmm.
And during that time is when .NET came to, Mac for one, but also on Linux, as opposed to just mono. Like the .NET became .NET Core, I think, at the time, and now just
Hmm.
.NET period. If please correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding is that happened during that
Yeah.
time as well, which is awesome. So people could run like
Yep.
C# elsewhere, because C# is a pretty cool language.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yep. I was
That's super cool.
100% C# for a long time.
We did have one comment in the chat, and I think this might take a second. So I'll let you read it while I collect
Do
my
you think
thoughts.
AI is really a bubble? And does that mean a bubble that's about to burst, or a bubble that will?
Mm,
Is it about bursting, or is it?
building,
I don't know. Yeah.
blowing. I don't know what a bubble does.
I don't
Growing,
know if
growing or
it's
bursting.
bigger than a bubble.
Right. Okay. So that is maybe one of my points. So I think what you're saying is it's so transformative that it can't be a bubble. Are we agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would agree that there are certain portions of what we've done now that are baked into offline LLM models that are transformational, period. Like they're
Hmm.
transformative, period. They're going to change the way
Yep.
we live. This may take a while, but I
Yep.
still feel like Llama 3.2 offline with Olama it's like those are shockwaves.
Yeah.
Maybe it's GPT OSS or what have you, but like
Yep.
these offline models that do not require a cloud and don't
Yep.
require a lot of compute locally are amazing.
Yeah.
Straight up amazing. And I think we're just starting to realize that now. It's been like 3 years, but we're starting to
Yeah.
realize that now. Like the general populace is
Llama
starting to realize
2
like,
was the first big one that I remember, because Llama 2 just happened to be when we started building out Olama,
right.
and we put out the first like kind of feeler version, um that was pretty cool. And then we spent another like 2 weeks. I mean, the first version was built in a weekend, and then another couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then switched over from Python to Go. And right about the time of like, okay, here's the real release, which was only like 3 weeks after we stopped making an SSH tool. Um, that happened to be the same week as Llama 2 getting released. It was like, oh well, let's ride this news. And it was huge. It
And
was
even
a
at that time, as
huge
like,
change.
yeah, even as just like an offline Wikipedia at that time, I
Yeah.
don't think people understood the utility, like just
Right.
how amazing this was.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking at the sizes, like it was only 39 gigabytes, I believe. And
Yeah.
maybe that's the fact that it's been updated. The biggest problem it had was context. It was 4K, and
Right.
we didn't
Yeah.
realize how much context was going to be
Right.
like a true indicator of performance. But like with more context, I feel like Llama 2 is actually a sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
really cool model.
Yeah.
And then 3 for me, I think, is when people like really their eyes
Yeah.
opened. But that's still like just in tech.
Yeah.
That's not outside of tech. And I think now people are like, my mom's using ChatGPT. My
Mm-hmm.
partner is starting like, and ChatGPT is the name. It's like the brand
Right.
name that
Right.
everybody knows. And maybe if you're in a different country, it's a different model. But like maybe in France, it's Mistral or something.
Hmm.
But the fact that normal people are starting to pick up these models and use
Right.
them for things like the weather or
Right.
like politics or whatever they're
Right.
using to I think there's a lot of people using them for therapy or role play or what have
Right.
you. But this is we're going to have so many new problems just from
Yeah.
that one model being released. So one, I don't think that's a bubble. We were just talking about finance and stuff like that, and I feel like the way that this is fast following, and in particular is an amplitude, because there's other market economics happening at the
Right.
same time. So maybe there's peak oil is happening. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with that theory, but basically oil will hit a peak price,
Mm.
and when it does, there's going to be a lot of forcing functions.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's just think of plastics as a byproduct of oil hitting peak price. Like that might mean plastic goods are very expensive going forward. That kind of thing's going to happen as part of peak oil. That's happening, as well as market destabilization in the world. I don't know. My neighbors to the south seem to be pretty noisy, causing
Mm-hmm.
some turmoil here and there. Not sure. And flavor on all of that on top of people who are in the market to make money. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be honest. Like they're trading stocks back and forth, not because they think it's better for the market, but because they think it's better for them. And the
Right.
combination of these things make it look like an economic bubble
Right.
for sure. Sorry to steal Macron's quote
Hmm.
there, but like it does feel like there's going to be a bit of a bust, but it's probably a good thing. I know no one wants to hear this, but in
Yeah.
terms of like, listen, I have stocks. I work for a company that has stocks. I
Hmm.
don't want the market to go down as a whole
No.
at all. However, if things are overvalued, they will be corrected. And there are some companies out there right now that are
Oh
probably
yeah.
overvalued. I don't know if you looked at Nvidia lately. Microsoft already
Yeah.
had a correction, which I think is
Yeah.
probably going to come to others.
Yeah. But is there a maximum price for anything like oil or anything else? I don't know if there can be I mean, I
There
remember,
is.
huh?
Yeah, there is, for sure. There's a
What do you mean?
max for oil. Yeah. For the general populace to run their cars, there's absolutely a maximum. Yes.
But we're nowhere close to it.
So here's the thing. If I made that maximum come into effect tomorrow, it's a really big problem. If it happens in 10 or 20 years, it's less of a problem because our economics are catching up to it as it goes.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's definitely like a
I mean,
max in terms of
what,
percentage that
like,
can change overnight. If it
like,
doubled in cost. It
right.
would cause the 1970s rush at the gas tanks that I think happened
Hmm.
in the US, for example.
But
Good,
then it
good
would
book.
keep going up
Even
it
if you just sum
eventually.
around in Gen AI, it's pretty good. What's that?
I mean, I think of, gas prices in the U.S.
Right.
Are whatever they are, um, and people would think, well, if it doubled, or if I had to pay double that, it would be, well, they eventually get used to it because I mean, you pay double that in Europe. It's
Yeah.
already there. It's
I feel like in Canada we already pay double
I mean, I was
taxes and stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
mean, there was the company paying my gas bill, but I yeah, I mean, I can't remember what it was. It was €1 or two per liter, or and now at the moment, I mean, gas prices haven't really changed around here for 3 years. They've been pretty static,
Pretty
but
static, right? Which is a
um,
good thing. That's what you want.
yeah,
This is generally, it means that people are
definitely
playing with
nothing's come
supply and
down.
demand. Sometimes that has happened.
Yeah.
Like during COVID, I think gas prices may have
Oh yeah.
plummeted quite a
Yeah.
bit because
Nobody
people weren't
wanted
driving
gas.
as much. Right. But at the same time, gas globally,
Yeah.
it has to become more
Yeah.
expensive because the limited supply, unless we find a big new place to
Yeah.
drill, what have you.
Yeah.
The question is more not when, because peak oil is going to happen. It's not
Yeah.
when it's going to happen. It's how the market's going to adapt to it.
Right.
Things like all the byproducts and things that we use in our economy that are part and parcel of how it works. Like
Yeah.
if gas doubled in price tomorrow and you were driving to work, you might not drive to work,
Right.
and you might not drive to work the next day. And I
Right.
think COVID at least prepared us for working remotely, et
Hmm.
cetera, for the jobs that can do that. But without that preparation, it would be like alarm bells are sounding just because you
Yeah.
can't get to work, you can't commute,
Yeah.
can't take your child to daycare, what have you. But there's more things. So it's like, what about your Amazon delivery that's on a
Hmm.
truck, and that truck is using gas to get you, or it's on a plane and the plane is we
Right.
don't have battery powered
Yeah.
planes yet. Like there's a lot of stuff where we're just not
Yep.
prepared for peak oil. And sorry, I'm coming back to my point, I promise. So when
Hmm.
we're thinking about tokens and token costs, I think they're really cheap right now. And I think I'm in the minority of thinking that tokens are quite cheap right now. I'm also in the minority paying for like the max plan or the pro plan with two providers
Right.
because I do think they're cheap now. There is going to be, I think, a land rush in terms of people trying to build apps and trying to sell them
Hmm.
to people. But I ultimately feel like that it's not that it's dried up. It's that like the app store is going to be inundated with people trying to put their app on the Mac App Store. There's going to be
Hmm.
a lot of people signing up for app dev accounts or Xbox dev accounts or what
Hmm.
have you because they're thinking, oh, I've got this AI, I can build an app right now. That's great.
Right.
Who's going to buy your app when I can make
Right.
my
Yeah.
I can make it to my own spec instead of your own spec? And it might be that economy is different going forward. And that I think is what I think about in terms of bubble. This isn't the
Yeah.
monday.com, like I can make my own app, but like if I just want to make munda.com or
Right.
munda.com, like 40% of the feature set, like
Right.
I could probably do that, or just mun.com. It's easier just to do what you want in an app than do the whole thing that needs to be
Yeah.
for everybody. And then that means that the software that you're using is different.
I think for some people that'll be the case. I think for, or at least for, I mean, it's saying that it just, I mean, saying
I
that it
know,
just
sorry.
works is a bit, is a bit much. I mean, even with the best models, um, it's yeah. I mean, it
Re-
depends. Sometimes you're lucky and you
re-
get something perfect.
remember Remember, I spent the weekend cloning an app with screenshots. I didn't tell
Yeah.
you how it landed, but so in general, I think building a UI in Rust and compiling down to WASM for a UI is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I did not expect success. Just because the screenshot looks the same doesn't mean you can click on the buttons
Yeah.
or drag and drop or like it
Right.
updates. Like there's so much stuff that like
Yeah.
if you're just gonna blindly copy an app, you're going to miss out on things if it's like
Yeah.
my mom copying the app versus me copying the app.
Right.
She might then say, "Hey, now I need to drag and drop or what have you," but like
Right.
not going to have a spec, not going to have
Yeah.
end-to-end testing, won't have a testing framework. And that's not to say it won't work because sometimes, the best models will hallucinate pretty cool stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, it did work in one job. Generally, that's not the case though. And I think you're right that it's going to mean that most people are now becoming like Google Foo. Some people can search the internet and other people just can't. Even in our industry, they
Yeah.
just can't seem to
Yeah.
find. I don't know if
Yeah.
you don't know how to use quotes or whatever. I guess quotes don't
Yeah.
really matter anymore, but like it or
I,
insight to make sure that it's on the site that you're looking for. Like a lot of that stuff seems to be lost on people,
yeah.
and I feel like we're going to have that same divide
Yep.
even as we go further forward. Like
And
some people
I
are
mean,
just not going to be good
I
at it.
think of many years ago, I worked for a company called OpenText, and I
Hmm.
did training for a product called, what did we call it? Well, it was an acquisition actually from the company I was. So the company I was at called Capteris got acquired, and
Hmm.
that company acquired a different company called Teamplate out of Calgary, and Teamplate was a workflow solution. It later got renamed to Workflow, which is a terrible name. But anyway, I would do trainings on that, and I remember at one point I was at a some company doing a training, a 2 or 3 day training, and the person was like, "Thank you so much for this training. This was great. I now know, I now understand why I'm paying somebody else to do this because I don't want to do this.
Ah,
And I would imagine there's going to be, enough people that are going to say, oh, okay, I got a first version. I don't know how to take it to the next level.
right.
I'm going to pay. I now feel good about paying that whatever $9 a month for Monday or whatever that costs. I don't know what it costs.
Right, right.
Um, uh, and or wait, I'm paying $20 a month to go to, ChatGPT versus I was okay with $9 a month or for this other service I'm trying to recreate. And
Right.
I can see how much I've done in a day. It's going to take me forever to recreate all the thing, and then I have to maintain it. And nobody thinks about maintenance until way
Right.
too late.
There's a
So
lot of people on Odesk apparently selling like $5,
mhm.
maybe it's Fiverr, $5 kind of I'll fix your broken code
Yeah,
services. And that seems to be like that code janitor job
yeah,
seems to be becoming a thing because people are just pushing out slop and then realizing,
yeah,
oh shoot, TLS changed, or I've got an update as
yeah,
cert, or the domain's different now, or I
yep,
had to rename it because I got sued, or what have you.
right,
Yeah, somebody made a coin in this name and I have to
yeah,
change properties. But like, yeah, the day
yeah,
zero app approach I think is there. So yeah, again for the bubble, like there might be over promises right now. I think
yeah,
there probably
yeah,
are over promises right now, and as a result, there will be corrections to the
yep,
over promises. Also, I feel like these exponential growth rates that we're seeing from the Claudes, the Chat
hmm,
GPTs, what have you, can't exist forever.
right,
There is a bit of a memory scarcity issue going
yeah,
on right now, as well as unfortunately companies prioritizing enterprises versus consumers, which I mean that's been
right,
happening for years. But as a result, like you may get a better experience with an AI model at work in the next 5 years as opposed to at home,
right,
which is going to be interesting as well. So
yeah.
like I think things are just changing is the main takeaway for me.
So I was also spending some time in open code this weekend building
Ooh,
something,
nice.
nothing useful, but it's useful to me. Um, and and at one point I think, well, what is it like if I switch over? I mean, because I don't have any of the like paid other than Olama
You can allow
Cloud.
me. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have I mean I have Raycast Pro, so
Hmm.
I've got access to the models from a UI, and I can get use all the things. Um, but I don't have it from API access. I can't use it from OpenCode. I thought, okay, well, let me just because I haven't had a paid account with OpenAI since we started Olama. I mean, when we started Olama, and just before that, all of us on the team got ChatGPT and Anthropic, and had all the accounts to see what they do and what we can do. Um, and so I finally signed up for it again, and and it was specifically in open code. I was I don't know if what I was expecting, but it was interesting to see little how little an improvement over Minimax 2.5 ChatGPT or GPT 5.3 codex is.
Right.
It is, I mean, looking at what results, the how well it works, looking at how much code was generated for any specific task, and you wouldn't be able to tell. Okay, that was obviously the OpenAI one, and that was this thing running on Olama. You wouldn't be able to tell, and the amount of time it took pretty much exactly the same. So there's like
Oh, really?
no. I was really shocked. I
I
was
heard
shocked
Minimax
how
could be
slow.
faster.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
shocked how
faster and
slow
cheaper.
it could be on OpenAI.
Yeah.
Trying all the different
Thank you.
all the different codecs. I was like,
Yes.
whoa, where, what?
I think
uh,
they've got too many clients. Like,
yeah,
again, love them to pieces, but like sometimes or often that experience is
yeah,
not the same. Like the experience I get one day is not the same to the
yeah,
next. I could swap models, I could swap IDs. It doesn't really matter.
yeah,
And it's not even the output that I'm complaining about.
yeah,
Sometimes it's just like the slowness or like the
Yeah.
failure to answer or the
Yeah, the
random you
failure
can't
to
use
answer
this
where I
word.
see it,
I'm
it's
paying.
doing
Yeah.
something, but it's just sitting there. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what's
What
going
are
on?
you doing?
And I don't have that
Thinking.
on Minimax,
Right.
and I am seeing it often on OpenAI, where I was like, okay, cancel and then start a new one. Says continue. It's like, just answer the freaking question.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, having to
it's
type continue in the chat repeatedly
yeah,
is one of those things that I really don't like about
yeah.
OpenAI. And then the problem is they're like, you that's against their terms of service. You can't just type continue. It's
Oh
like I've been doing this for 3 years.
yeah.
Now it's against the TOS, and it's just the Codex app, I think, is what I've narrowed it down
Oh,
to.
okay.
Codex app specifically is very, you can't type in Olama, you can't use Quen. Like a lot of these terms that are
Hmm.
somehow just competitors. Like continue is an ID. I think that's where this comes from.
Okay.
But if I just type continue, it's like, nah, this is against our TOS.
Really?
What? I've read your TOS.
I
Like
mean,
I
I
went
don't.
into this.
So I'm using
Fine.
open code with, uh, you know,
Ah,
GPT at five, whatever, 5.3
yeah.
codecs.
Which is probably the
And
right way to use it.
yeah,
Yeah. I think they extended their SDK when Anthropic said that OpenCode couldn't like wrap their OAuth token. And
mm,
then again, OpenAI said like, "Hey, have you looked over here? We
yeah,
can help
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Let's open source our SDK so
yeah,
you can build your own client." Because they had already open sourced their IDE, or not sorry, not their IDE, their agent.
yeah.
The Codex CLI agent was already open source. So I think for them it's just another front end. Like we're still getting money either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I
Anyway.
am for that experience using open code in the
Mhm.
CLI or in a terminal. I
Great.
am, so I was just building a front end, a web app that will display some videos. And so there's a back end piece and a front end piece. Um, and I'm totally digging that kind of where I'm not writing anything, but I want to see what's going on. And
Mhm.
having basically a four pane terminal, not use I for a while I was using Zellage, but now I'm just using Ghosty and splitting the
Oh,
panes in
okay.
Ghosty, which
Yeah.
supports that. And in the top left, I've got open code. On the top right, I have Sidecar, that thing I mentioned last week.
Mhm.
And then the bottom two have npm run dev and npm run whatever for the front end stuff. So two different npm run commands, and so I can see what's going on,
Mhm.
and and at any point I can just click on the files and look at what's being updated, commit to GitHub, as well as to see the current tasks. And every time I can either create a task in Sidecar, which is creating it in TD,
Mhm.
or I can have say to open codes like, okay, let's do this other thing in this particular window, and it will um, you know from that one prompt, it'll create the task and add it to the current what I'm working on right now, and it will create all the tests for it, and it will start building out the feature. And I see the tests running, and I can see it fail, working, passing, um, and it's just great. It's really cool. I mean, I can easily I mean, because of the way the Sidecar works, it will, I can easily jump into an editor,
Mhm.
and but I'm just viewing, and it's super fast, and it's a great experience. So I'm totally
Now,
digging that.
uh, I made some discoveries in Ghosty over the weekend, and in other terminal emulators. It's called Chaffa. Have you heard of Chaffa before?
No,
Did you know a Sixel? I think is probably the one that you've heard of. Sixel is like a way to take an image and kind of bitmapify it so it like fits into the terminal and you can see it.
okay,
Chaffa is a way to show you the JPEG itself in a terminal, which
okay.
blew my mind.
I
So imagine you're me in open code just typing around, you're like,
yeah,
yeah, this is great. And you're like, wait a second, like I'm gonna be Canadian here. What the actual f is this full image showing him terminal? And it turns out, like, I don't know if Ghosty hints to the agent that's using it, and open code knows that it can do it or something, but it was like showing me images in my terminal. My brain was
Hmm.
just like,
I've
sorry,
definitely
what?
seen that with one of the like file managers, and it's like it's showing you a preview of whatever image you've selected, and it's not just like a dithered,
Yeah,
super dithered
right.
image. It's like
Which is what I was
the
used to.
image. It is
Yeah.
the full image,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think I remember from there's a couple terminals basically for the command line that you can use to browse the web, and one of them would dither the image and show you that there was an
Yeah,
image there, but
yeah,
you couldn't see it using Sixels.
yeah.
So I went looking to figure out how they did it. I was using OpenClaw TUI, funnily enough,
Uh-huh.
and maybe that hinted something because like it installed Chafa
Hmm.
CHAFA, and then it showed me the image. I was trying to make watch faces, just
Hmm.
let's make Apple Watch faces. I don't know, whatever. Let's give it a hard problem,
Yeah,
and was just enamored by the fact that it could show it.
yeah.
So I think for this week, I was trying to slowly segue into this, but my takeaway is Chafa, the command line image viewer that is supported by Ghosty. I think it's also supported by
So what's that name?
Kitten,
Chafa?
CHAFA, Chafa.
Does
Chafa?
it stand for something?
I have no idea.
Is it like
The other one
what
is
was what
V.
were the like the bodyguards uh of the leaders in Stargate? Do you
Not that, but you were pretty close to the Marvel universe, funnily enough, because I
Oh,
did look it
okay.
up and pull it. Yeah, there was like a guard in the Marvel universe named Chafa.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Not there. I think it at least. Oh, this is why it launched 2 weeks before Christmas last year. Yet again, there's so much happening over the holidays, but it launched December 15th on Hacker News, which is probably how I missed it. But it's called the Terminal Graphics for the 21st Century, and
Mm,
it's phenomenal. It's actually really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. The View, I think, is the one that was out there before, VIU. And
Hmm.
I did try, it was okay, but Chafa is like very fast and pretty sweet. So if you need to add graphics to terminal apps that you're making, because everybody seems to be rediscovering the terminal these days,
Yeah.
Chafa is a pretty cool way to do it. It stands for Character Art
Okay.
Facsimile. There we go. The chat is
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you, Tuesday. I appreciate
I
it.
I thinking of, so much has happened.
Yes.
Last night I had dinner at my mother's place because
Mhm.
my wife and daughter are away in Michigan for the week.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, I'm
Curling.
sure I'll take a
Mhm.
yeah, sure I'll take a free meal at my mother's place. And my mother always said, okay, well, come and we'll eat at 7, and then at 7:30 we watch Jeopardy, and you have to
Ooh.
take part. You have to pay attention and answer the questions because
Worth it for a free meal, I
yeah.
think.
So
All told. Yeah.
so I'm watching, and one of the categories was January 2026, and all the questions were things that happened, and like all 6 or 7 questions, I don't think I
Yeah.
had no idea. Like these were apparently big things, and I had no. Oh, except the only one I got was the Venezuela, thing.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Jaffa
Yeah.
Guard was Stargate reference. Yes, thank you.
Jaffa. There. Wow.
Yeah,
Again, lots of
yeah.
good. Thank you for the comment section this week. We're not great for those of you who just started to watch. Not so great at character names or the actors who played them. We're trying. So
Was it
we're generally
Glover?
googling as we talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Did you play any games? Read any books?
Well,
Play some
I
piano? Some
one
stuff
of
that we
the
should know
other
about?
one of the other topics that we've covered here
Mhm.
before that we haven't talked about in a while, but I had a need to find a better browser.
Oh, yes, it's my favorite topic.
So
So you
I
reached for the one Anthropic said they built on 4.6?
no,
No,
no. See,
4.5.
for a long time I've been going back and forth between Arc and Dia, and I
Right.
like Dia for like the skills and stuff. That's kind of fun, but it got so frustrating. I would do a Command L to pop up in the location bar, type in what I wanted to search for, and it's like I search for this thing, and it switches it into a chat. It's like, no, So let me do the search again. And like, how do I change it to search, not a chat? It's like, and I got so frustrated. It's like, fine, I'm getting rid of Dia. And I haven't quite
Oh,
gotten rid of it yet, but I'm, I haven't, but I'm looking around for another browser,
so
and
you're joining the Ladybird project?
no. So is that available?
No, no,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. I think you'd have to join to help them work on it.
So
You could do that.
I
Listen, I don't know
downloaded
where you are.
Helium.
Yeah, okay, okay. That was my next one, and
Helium is pretty interesting. I wish I'm really kind of
it's
addicted
early,
to
right?
the huh?
Helium is early, right? The
It's
browser.
pretty early, yeah. It doesn't have is all the tabs are at the I'm not really sure what the difference is between that and Google, but or Chrome. Um,
Hmm.
but uh, but yeah, I'm playing around with that. Um, there's nothing offensive about it yet. Um,
Well, it's GPL 3, and it's C++. So like not terrible, but it's
yeah,
got its thing. Have you ever compiled Chromium or Chrome?
compiled? No.
Hmm. Uh, I've compiled
I
Chromium. You
mean,
can make
maybe
your
as
own browser if you want.
yeah, no, I don't. I mean, that's kind of like
Like if all you're trying
what
to do is
that's
move
that
tabs around.
Steinberger interview from the beginning. Is like I didn't really want to do. I mean, I don't want to. I'd rather somebody else do it.
Right,
I don't want to have to maintain it.
right.
So no.
I've maintained was it Widevine plus Chromium before?
Hmm.
Widevine being I forget what they call it. It's like the DRM solution that allows them to use Netflix,
Hmm.
YouTube. I think is both of those.
Hmm.
But at one point in time for
Okay.
Mac, I ported it, made it work.
Hmm.
Google's got some before Google had Chrome Enterprise. They had some stuff in Chrome that was not acceptable. Funnily enough,
Hmm.
in an enterprise, it's not cool, kosher to like track 600 plus
Right.
employees that are working
Right.
for one company. It's
Yeah.
not even close to cool.
Yeah.
Similarly, Internet Explorer had a non-tracking Internet Explorer that we rolled out as well. But yeah, not great. So, are you recommending Helium? I think this is what I'm hearing. Like, because it's Chromium based. This is why
It
I'm all up in
is.
your yeah,
It's. I mean, it's. I mean, there's also Zen, which is
which I have
Firefox
not tried
based.
either. Yes.
Um, and that was, I mean, my one big thing against Zen was that even at full screen, you couldn't get rid of the chrome around that bar
Oh,
around the edge. You couldn't get rid of it.
ugh.
That
That
apparently
is a design
has
decision I can't get behind. Okay.
that has been solved.
Okay.
Um, and with the problem with Helium, I mean, Helium at least is Chromium based, so
Hmm.
that's a plus. But the thing I hate that really is annoying about it is if you go full screen, you can't access the location bar, so you can't go anywhere.
Right.
And with every other browser, even if you're at full screen with nothing else showing, Command L on the Mac will always bring up that location bar on every browser except Helium.
I want to say you could you could put in an issue or add that feature pretty easily, but yes,
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty
yeah.
cool. Are you using anything to um, test UIs? Like, sorry, what I'm trying to say is, have you come across like a lightweight browser that you can use to test like an app? And the one that I used
We're like
now
Playwright.
is right, but Playwright has to open something. Playwright
Oh,
will it's a driver, right? It's kind of like
no.
Selenium. Playwright will drive a browser, but the browser it opens needs to be drivable. So I think Playwright by default uses Chrome kiosk mode, if I'm not mistaken,
Ah,
which is
yeah.
actually pretty cool because
But
it's a little bit faster
nothing
because
has
it's
to
not all
open like on your screen.
yeah, you could see it, but you don't have to see it with Playwright
Sort of like
default.
headless kind of.
You
Yeah.
got it. And the reason is because I think kiosk mode, for example, is quite a bit faster than Chrome because it's not got all the stuff.
Right.
Similarly, my understanding is there are builds of Chromium that are like that as well that you can get there just like
Hmm.
bare bones. And I guess I don't know of one for Firefox or Safari, but like That's the question. Is like if you're, I remember this from the Selenium days. Basically, it's like just enough
Yeah,
browser to do my test, but not to do all the.
right,
I don't need an address bar. I don't need like bookmarks bar. Do you need
right.
history? None of this stuff's important. I just need to be able to render the page and then stop. I think V8 was it Ghost something Ghost Ghost.
Hmm.
I'm losing the term, but basically, we just run V8. It would like
Hmm.
load your site just in V8.
Because
And
there
I
was
think with
also Puppeteer and
there's one more, right?
yeah, something that
Phantom
Puppeteer
JS,
was
I think was the first
based
one.
on. What
I
was it?
used to use Phantom,
Oh
Phantom
yeah, okay.
JS. So it was the first one. Yeah.
Um, Puppeteer. I think it was Puppeteer that I was using that you could squeeze into whatever the thing is on AWS Lambda on serverless, and you could have a
Oh.
serverless function that had all of
Oh.
the Puppeteer in it. You could like really squeeze it down and get it. So because I was doing something there with oh, what the reason I was doing that was I needed a way to generate for a class for a because
Mhm.
I was doing training at Datadog. I needed a way to generate 100 real users in Datadog, and the
Have been
backend
there.
teams weren't helping me, and so I said, "Fine, I'll
Sorry,
just do it myself."
well, if I recall correctly, the backend team may have told you they were too busy. Is this not exactly what
Yeah,
happened?
sure, whatever.
Okay, okay.
They had things
They
I
weren't helping you.
yeah, and so I use that to go in, create a new account, and specify a password, and then I had 100 of these, and then I would be able to print out all 100 and onto a piece of paper and cut them up, and then just put those each slip of paper on somebody's desk and say, well, here's your account for, and then have a separate process that would go and destroy all those accounts at the end of the session. That was
Account
awesome.
vending.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. We did have one comment. I think
Hmm.
somebody thanking you for the amazing work you've done on Olama.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Before you read it, let me get ready. It's like, okay, I'm ready.
The compliment may not be landing in the right location, but I think they're saying thanks for how amazing Olama makes local LLM easy, which is true.
Hmm.
Just tried to play with it with VLLM. So VLLM I think is routing, if I understand correctly. So like hit this model or hit this one, what have you, and it's like a lot to learn
No,
more on how
I mean
LLMs. Oh,
it's
sorry.
another way of running.
Is it GPUs?
It's running. I mean,
Maybe.
but it's trying to be more efficient on a like a server if you're having a. I,
Oh, okay. My bad.
I yeah, I think it's
Huh.
another way. I mean, it's an alternative to Olama, but I think he's saying
Gotcha.
that Olama is still just easier.
Then VLLM. Gotcha.
Yeah,
My sincerest apologies. I think I was thinking of light LLM. I'm so sorry.
yeah.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah, there's a
All right.
some every now and then on I open up Twitter or X or whatever, and look for Olama, and there's like this one person who it is his life mission to make sure that nobody uses Olama. Like Olama, nobody should use it. Here's all the other alternatives. You should. I was like, I wonder what's his incentive to kind of push this idea that I don't know. I think people are still upset about
Oh,
they got upset. There was a big kerfuffle about
yes, I recall that.
Olama versus Llama CPP, even though Olama, the devs kind of contributed a lot to Llama CPP. And it was such, I think most of that's gone away, but there's still a few holdouts.
There's one more comment in the
Oh,
chat. The preface would be, please do not do this at home. AWS does have terms and conditions. I have a feeling like they may have written some of those TOSs based on what happened through Alan James. Hopefully, this is not your birthday. I won't read it, but their company crashed one of AWS crashes within scare quotes here. One of AWS's data centers that offered very cheap spot centers since it was new. So sometimes, like a new
yeah,
DC would open, they give you spot instances so people would use them. You could pick
right.
them up on a marketplace. And what Sir Alan James was doing was building a search engine and scaled to 6,000 concurrent Puppeteer instances, which is like It's not that much, but depending on what they're doing, it
Yeah.
could be a lot of impact.
Yeah.
It was all coordinated with Gravity MQ tasks. Speaking of blasts
Wow.
from the past, but yeah, things I probably wouldn't use in anger these
Yeah.
days would be like Gravity
Yeah.
MQ. Unfortunately, for active MQ, there's a few MQs out there that I wasn't
Yeah.
very fond of. Yeah, I can imagine this being a problem. That's really cool, Alan. Thanks for the story.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't used AWS now since I left. Probably since I left Datadog. It's 4 years.
I'm an AWS community hero, so I
Oh
do
yeah.
use it
Okay.
often. But I think it might be a month. I'm
Yeah.
working on Azure webinar right now, so I'm thick in the Azure stuff. But I probably should dust off the AWS shoes because it's certainly the most popular cloud compared to anything else.
Yeah.
All right, should we find the button? Thank you, everyone.
Was there
for
a recommendation?
amazing stuff in the
Did you say give it a recommendation?
I did, Chafa. Did you
Oh,
forget?
okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yours is
I
Puppeteer.
wasn't
as
sure
far
if
as
that
I can
was.
tell.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know if I want to recommend anything. Hold on. Let me.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I have acquired that
Better not be an $80,000 car.
No,
We'll lose
but
our
I'm
whole audience
tempted.
again.
No. We're not in. We don't need to do it right away, but the Lucid is still winning.
For what it's worth, my partner also caught a few Lucids walking around this weekend, and
Oh, yeah?
thinks they look really nice for the exterior.
It is
Yeah.
amazing how the cheapest Lucid versus Lucid Gravity
Electric.
versus the
Yep.
Kia or Hyundai Ioniq 9 and EV9, the top spec one of those, either one of those, is more expensive than the base model Gravity, and yet the Gravity is so much more than either of those. It's like, well,
Like in terms of features, yeah.
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 Oh, it's weird. But did I buy anything? Did I?
You
Get
already
anything.
recommended something. You're
I didn't
done.
recommend
Tell him in the
anything.
chat, he's done.
I didn't recommend anything. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna recommend something that I had this morning.
This podcast's gonna go on forever.
This is.
Matt had breakfast.
Do you
We're
have
gonna
a
hear about
meeting
it.
that starts 2 minutes ago? Okay.
I do not. I wish I did.
No.
I do
This
not.
is.
I will listen.
This was so good. I was not. I mean, okay. So, do you like sardines?
I, funnily enough, do actually like canned sardines.
I love
talking about this
sardines.
over the weekend. Funnily enough, yeah.
I grew up. I mean, one of the things my dad would sometimes do on the weekends for lunch, if my mother was out for some reason, we'd have sardines on toast, and it was either baked beans on toast or sardines on toast. I grew up loving sardines, and so I have a bunch of cans of sardines, and I was curious this morning. It's like, can I do something? I often have an omelet or something. It's like, can I do something with eggs and sardines? Is that disgusting? Because I'm thinking of it just like top of mind. It's like, that sounds like two things that could be disgusting together. And it turns out, I mean, there's a whole bunch of like the fisherman's eggs or something like that, where you're adding tomato but I wanted to have something simpler. And it turned out I found this, like, well, here's something you can do. And I tried it, and it was amazing. Just adding, getting the sardines out of the can, minus the oil, and adding a little bit of lemon juice.
Okay.
And it kind of, that worst part, sometimes if you burp after you have sardines, it kind of like that taste is
oily,
disgusting.
Yeah.
So it kind of cuts through some of that, and then kind of mash it up a little bit, and then do your eggs over easy, sunset up, whatever you want to call it, and then just kind of put the sardines on top, and it was a spectacular breakfast.
Nice. I did find what you were talking about, fisherman's eggs. I had not.
Yeah,
heard
I didn't. That's not what I did, because I didn't add tomatoes and.
Right. It sounds like you did a sardine scramble. Does that sound
sure?
Right?
I mean, minus the scramble. I mean, I did a.
Sardine eggs, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That was great. Great.
All right, folks. You heard it here. So
that's my recommendation. That is my recommendation.
To go out and try sardines. I will say
because I love sardines.
My recent my recent story is there's a member on our team, Jason Yee, who love him to pieces, is a foodie, and I am not. Like I like food. Don't get me wrong. Jason will look at the Michelin Guide and figure out where things are and things like that. But it's kind of rubbing off on me, baby. Like there's a prestige of some of the Michelin Guide things. So I've been when I see them, I'll pop in. They're typically a little bit pricey, what have you. The one in Vancouver that I went to is called Como, which means what in Spanish, like what? And yeah, you'll probably be saying what once they serve you your food because they serve you tin canned, like preserved sardines, what have you, but like bougie, like $20 cans, and the food is good too. Like they make amazing French
Right.
fries, which is like a silly thing to say, but like they're good French fries. But most of the plates, like the entrees, are centered around canned goods, and they've got cool packaging. They
Yeah.
they give you the whole can. It's not just like on your plate. They give you the can to play around with. But like a Michelin Guide restaurant, I think it's 1 star, that serves primarily canned sardines is a little bit. It's a
Yeah.
stretch too far for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was delicious. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
I
it was
remember
pretty good.
going with Jason and with the rest of the team. We went to it was like a team dinner at I want to say it wasn't Momofuku. It was but it was that I think it was
That's
that
fine.
chef who started that. Is it
Okay,
David Chang or anyway?
no
We
ideas.
go to this restaurant and you know the first of the like appetizers comes out and I mean it's the kind of place that will serve a dish of like sea foam with like a
Of
pea in
course,
the like whatever, you know.
of
And so
course.
there's this slice of tofu, and that's it. It's like
Okay.
okay, and it's
Tofu has a taste, but it's not a strong taste.
yeah, there's nothing on it. There's nothing like, and it's just this tofu, and Jason is just going nuts about this. He is like so excited about this tofu.
Wow.
And I think I'm sitting right across from him. He says, "Oh, what do you think of this? This is great." I said, "This kind of sucks. I mean, this is. I hope it gets. I hope the rest of the dinner gets better, because this is really awful." I said, "Oh no, you have to understand the process. It's to make this is it's so many steps. So you know you have to appreciate all the work that was done." It's like no, I they put a dish in front of me. I take it, I eat it, I taste it, and it should be good. This is disgusting.
I do agree with what he's saying, but also like the end goal is tofu. And if
It's
you're not a fan, like you're
yeah,
not going to be able to tell.
yeah. So it was awful, and so
It doesn't sound good. As someone
yeah.
who's had like really good handcrafted tofu, I still wouldn't.
He's probably forgotten this dinner.
I'd
But
want some horseradish maybe, or
yeah,
like
flavor,
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
just like
flavor,
the
texture. Oh, because he was also like
texture. Yeah.
going on about oh well to the effort required to create this and to get this particular kind of texture. It's a really
Fair,
technically difficult thing to
fair.
make. It's like yeah, okay, well, it still sucks.
What is the term? Pearls before swine, I think, is what describes us both.
Oh my god, awful.
All right. On that note,
Okay,
you've had your recommendation.
I
Are you
got it.
satisfied?
Yep. Oh
You got
god.
it all the way. Thank you so much, folks, for the
Thank
chat. That
you.
was
It was
fantastic.
good. Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. Shall we find the button?
I think we should do it. Thanks, folks.
Okay.